Picking a name for your business can be a pretty daunting task, but it's super important that not only you like the name of your business, but that you can see the future of your business in the name as well. If you're trying to create and grow a business, but more importantly, a brand, then you might be feeling a lot of pressure to get your name just right. There are a few things that you're going to want to consider when trying to decide on your business name. So in this video, I'm going to take you through different types of business names, the steps that you can take to pick your business name, and a few extra tips to consider. Then at the end, I'm going to give you one bonus tip that will make things a little bit easier for you to decide with an online tool. So let's get into it. Okay, so first I want to explain the different types of business names so that you can keep this in mind later on when we're going through the steps of picking your name, and it may help you to be more creative in the different options you have for picking a name. The first type of name I want to discuss is called a descriptive name, and that is basically just as it sounds. A descriptive name is one that includes a word that describes the type of product or service that you provide. Some real life examples of descriptive names are Pizza Hut, Bank of America, American Airlines, just to name a few. Descriptive names can be great for letting your audience know what your company is about. They can be great for positioning your brand clearly. On the other hand, there can be some downsides to using this type of name, and one of those is that it's hard to stand out amongst the sea of similar names. It can also make it more difficult to trademark your name, and you may also pigeonhole yourself into one specific area that's going to make it harder to expand or pivot your product lines or your business overall down the road. The next type of name that I want to talk about is called suggestive. These types of names often provoke an emotion, and they also let your customers know what your company is about while also allowing you room for growth and expansion down the road. Some real life examples of the suggestive name is maybe Shopify, Greyhound, or Reddit. Shopify indicates shopping, Greyhound indicates fast, and Reddit indicates reading. This gives you the indication of what the brand is about without directly saying it. This type of business name can help you take advantage of some of the pros of descriptive names while still allowing you to be unique and allow you room for growth. The next type of business name is called an abstract business name. These names have no connection to a type of product or service that you're offering, and they can be real words like Apple or Caterpillar, or they could be made up words like Verizon or Kodak. These very unique names will definitely help you stand out. However, it's going to make it more difficult for your customer to know what you're about. It's going to take you more time and more money and more effort to really teach people who you are and what you're all about in order to recognize your name and put your name with your product. However, on the plus side, that you can make that name mean whatever you want to make it mean, and you can allow it to evolve over time as you want to expand and grow your business. Now I want to go over some kind of subcategories of names that you can think about that might help you think outside of the box. And the first one I'm going to talk about is a compound name. And this is essentially where you're taking two different words and you're making it one word and creating a new word out of it. Some examples of this type of name would be Facebook or Snapchat. Another type of name is an invented name, and this is a name that you're not going to find in any dictionary. And some examples of an invented name are Acura and Google. Another type of name that you might see and might think of is an acronym, and these can be a word created from the first letters of a longer name, or they can just be the letters themselves. So one example is Geico, and Geico actually stands for, or used to stand for, Government Employee Insurance Company. And some examples for just using the letters is KFC and IBM. And then the last one I wanted to mention is basically just using your name. And so you can use just your full name, just your first and middle name, or you can use your name with a descriptive word added on the ends, like Jane Doe Designs or Joan Ann Jewelry. Now, before we get into the steps for actually coming up with your company name, I just wanted to mention a few tips that you might want to keep in mind. The first is to consider your target audience. You want to make sure that you're thinking about who you're actually going to be selling to and what might actually appeal or speak to them. The next tip is to keep it simple. You want to make sure your business name is easy to say, easy to spell, and easy to pronounce. You also want to make sure that you try to provoke emotion in your audience. You really kind of want to make sure that your name is memorable if possible. And I would try not to be too specific or too descriptive. Now let's go over the 6 steps for you to pick your business name. Step number 1 is to create your customer avatar. You want to think about your customer. Who are they? What do they like? What age are they? Are they male? Are they female? Do they live in a particular area of the country? Do they have a particular type of job? You want to go ahead and you want to create that ideal customer avatar that you are going to be selling to. And this will help you to decide what kind of name would work well. Step number 2 is to brainstorm keywords. Now you want to sit down and you want to take your avatar and you want to take your products and services and any kind of descriptive words maybe about your products or services and anything that you might want to get across, anything that you can think of, and you want to write them all down. And no getting rid of anything right now. We're going to keep everything on the list. We're not evaluating any of it at this point. Step 3, which is to start merging and mixing and matching those words together. See if you can create a new word, or if you can just combine 2 words together to create a new word, or if you can just use a combination of 2 words and you'll have 2 words in your business name. Start writing all these down, and again, don't filter anything just yet. We are going to do that in the next step. Step number 4 is going to be to start filtering our words and apply the following questions to each one to see which names will work best. As you go through each word, you're going to ask yourself the following questions. Number 1, how does it sound? Number 2, how does it look? Number 3, how easy is it to spell and to say? Number 4 is it unique? Number 5 is, does it have depth of meaning? What does it say to your customers? Number 6 is, can you grow with the name? Step 5 is to apply your whole brand. Now you want to take your names that you have left. It should be a much smaller list of names. And you want to put it with your brand and see if it fits. You want to think about your style, colors, fonts, feel of your brand, who your customers are, the category or industry that your products or services in, and you want to see, does each name fit into that? How does it feel with all of your actual brand around it? Step number 6 is to now check out your URLs, your trademarks, and your socials. If your first choice of names are not showing up with these searches, then you may want to consider going and moving on to number 2 on your list of names, because when you're running an online business, having your URL and your proper socials are really important. You don't want to have to start adding in extra letters or numbers or things on your handles and make it difficult for people to find you. So your best bet, unless you really, really love the name and you're willing to work around it, is to just go ahead and move to your second name and see what you can find there. Once you've picked your name and you found all your websites, trademarks, and socials are available, then I would go ahead and sign up for whatever you can right away. Because what you don't want to do is wait. If you don't really want to start an Instagram right now, but you know that in the future you're probably going to want to, go ahead and sign up for it now, and that way in the future it's not going to be unavailable for you, and now you're like, what do I do? So make sure you sign up now, especially if it's free. As far as the URLs go, if you're not ready to sign up for your website, domain names are pretty cheap. Think about any variations you might want to have with it too. You can get them fairly cheap, most likely. So I would just go ahead and purchase them now and then pay that low fee and not run the risk of not having it available for you when you're ready. And now for the bonus tip that I promised you. And that is to go to a website called businessnamegenerator.com. And in here you can put in one or maybe even two words that are on your list of keywords that you did in step 2, and it will generate a ton of different names, different combinations of names for you to choose from. And this might be a good idea to get some names that you have never even thought of, or combinations that never occurred to you. I hope I was able to help you find your business name today. If so, if you would consider to give this video a thumbs up, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you're interested in more videos about starting a business or being an entrepreneur, then make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.